A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus said, "Truly, I tell you, among those born of women, no one has arisen greater than John the Baptist. Yet the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John came. And if you were willing to accept it, he is Elijah who is to come. Let anyone with ears listen." John the Baptist, of course, is in prison and going to his martyr's death, a prisoner of conscience who has done great things in both energizing Jesus at the beginning, the link between Jesus' baptism at the hands of John and Jesus' ministry is about as significant as it could possibly be. John has done great things and is acclaimed by Jesus and set in the context of violence being done to the kingdom of heaven. John is being persecuted for his faith and his witness, and we know the way that that story ends. But the least in the kingdom of heaven is apparently greater than John the Baptist. It's a remark that is usually understood as one that reflects the turning point into the age of Christianity. John the Baptist was not a Christian. Whatever he was, he couldn't possibly be. He dies before Jesus is crucified and resurrected. And there is a turning point there. There's also perhaps a turning point that in responding to God's presence in the world and to the good news, we do so through Jesus-tinted lenses that enable us to see the world all the more clearly. John is the last and greatest of the prophets pointing us in that direction. And now it's up to us. For we live in a world where the kingdom still suffers violence. It suffers violence when we see the inequalities around us on the streets of Chicago, the gun violence, the substance abuse that fuels it, the racial inequality. I could go on and on. I don't think you need me to take the point that we are still a long way from the kingdom of heaven. And we both have to prophesy about that kingdom and play our part in working towards it. And for us to do that as Christians, our starting point, our foundation, has to be the good news of Jesus, which John perceives with such clarity and now calls us to perceive and to publish to a listening world that is still very confused about good news, bad news, and fake news. We're called to be agents of the kingdom. And if we do that, then our place in that kingdom will be the more assured. That's the Advent challenge. I hope that you and I can raise ourselves to live it out in our lives. Amen.